Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the latest issue of Warhammer 40k Combat Patrol magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and of course, drop me a comment down below. Love hearing back from you guys. It goes a massive way to helping out the channel too. Now, this week we're on issue number 46 of good old Combat Patrol magazine. It is a paint issue, but it's not too bad. We get two paints, obviously. We get Stormhost Silver, which is a very nice silver paint. Yeah, it's like Mithril Silver from the old kind of Citadel colour range. Yeah, it's a bit brighter than your lead belcher. And yeah, it's pretty decent. It does work. It does do a very, very good job. You need to give it a really, really good shake to make sure it has a nice consistency to it, because it does separate very, very, very easily. Good old silver paint does, especially Stormhost Silver, but pretty cool stuff. The other paint we get is Night Questor Flesh. You can use it as a base colour for flesh tones. You can use it as a layer. You can use it for edge highlighting. It's very, very versatile. So it is definitely going to come in handy. So it's going to do, yeah, you're going to learn some good tricks with that one. Anyway, going into the issue itself, we're going to learn some more techniques. So if you're new to painting, these pages are really, really good for you because you get to learn a bit more about how to paint up, especially things like highlighting. So you have two ways of highlighting. You have edge highlighting and you have tip of brush highlighting. So edge highlighting, you're using the side of your brush against kind of more straight lines and more heavily defined lines. So for instance, if I grab my big chap here, the big heavy lines on this dreadnought were all done using edge highlighting and not using the tip of the brush. If you use the tip of a brush, in all honesty, you're going to find it very difficult to keep a very, very straight line on things like this. However, for the kind of tip of brush highlighting that you are going to also want to do, you are going to use more of the kind of tip of your brush, and I'm trying to find a decent mini where I can show that off a bit better. Probably this guy here, probably one of these little pooches. So the very, very light colours on kind of like the haunches and the legs and everything like that of this chappie were done with the tip of a brush and not the edge and the side of a brush. So this works very, very well for kind of like muscular tones and everything like that. So as long as it's not a purely straight line, that is the best way to do it. So if it's kind of like the muscles of the orcs and stuff like that, works very, very well, as explained in this magazine, which I'll show you in just a sec. So edge highlights, going along obviously the edges and using the side of your brush. Don't overload your brush though, because you don't want it too thick, because otherwise then it starts looking a bit meh and a bit messy. Using the tip of your brush over things like the orc muscles, cloaks and stuff like that all works very, very well. So you kind of more your smoother kind of rounded edges work very, very nicely with the tip of your brush. And obviously don't overload it, because it will go wrong and it'll look a bit messy and you have to repaint over stuff. Get it right the first time. Obviously practice makes perfect, so the more you're doing it, the better. But yeah, take your time is probably the best way to describe it. But anyway, very, very good, very, very decent tips there as well. And you also learn a few more tips as well, utilising other colours. For example, highlighting faces and stuff like that. Not going to lie, painting guys is probably the bane of most people's existence for good old Warhammer painters. It's just an absolute nightmare, but you can do it. So it's just need some really, really good brushes. So you can get some ultra fine brushes. So you can get ones from like Green Stuff World, where it's 00 and stuff like that. You can get smaller, which also includes things like that one, which is the Silver Series 8. Also from Green Stuff World, also a 00, and it is ever so slightly thinner than that green version. So but yeah, pretty good stuff. But yeah, get yourself some really, really good brushes, because it'll make life so much easier. The brushes that GW give you and get you are small, but they're not small enough in a lot of times. Going on from there, obviously you get the updating your minis kind of guide, so utilising the edge of your brush for things like, as say, the Space Marine armour and more straight edges. I disagree with doing the chaplain with blue edge highlights, it looks wrong. Use grey, Mechanica Standard grey, then Administratum grey as a smaller edge highlight over the top of it. Makes it look far better in my opinion. You may disagree, you may agree with me on that, but blue on black armour I do not think works. I think it looks a little bit out of place. So yeah, it's your choice, but I just don't think, it just doesn't sit right with me. Using your Stormhost Silver over things like metals, you don't have to just keep it over things like silvers, so not over just over your lead belcher. You can use it over gold, you can use it as an edge highlight on bronze, brass and everything like that. It adds to the kind of the metallic look in a very, very nice way. So it can be done. And using the Night Quest to flesh, it's not just a flesh paint, you can use it for things like leather and stuff like that, and it will do just as good, so it's pretty decent. Once you're done, you can have something that looks like that, so you may have a look at a chaplain with blue lines on him. Disagree, seriously disagree with it. It just upsets me. But yeah, you can do all that type of stuff. Then you got an update for your Eldari and how to highlight those. Yeah, you can do them the same way. It's entirely up to you. Yeah, have a bit of fun with it, enjoy yourself, and yeah, you can get some really, really nice looking minis out of the end of it, and yeah, happy days. Moving on from there though, we're going to go into the lore section for the Orcs, so we're carrying on with that. So they are brutal but cunning. So to face the Orcs in battle is to face a furious tide of aggression. Great engines of war belch out foul vapours and fumes. Earth-shaking war cries are raised, and machines of death clank unsteadily forward. Every measure of their effort and resources is dedicated to violence, destruction, and all-consuming brutality. Orcs are feared for their brutality. Many foes have underestimated the sheer aggression of the Orcs, and few of them have lived very long afterwards. Given the slightest chance, and often no provocation, an Orc horde will launch all of itself towards the enemy at once, screaming, bawling and thrashing until the battle is over. Each Orc is motivated not by survival, but by getting a piece of the action. However, even the most brutal Orcs are not without their cunning. Sometimes a little bit of planning can give them the opportunity to be even more brutal. That's the type of proposition that seriously appeals to even the most enthusiastically fighty among their number. So, going on from there, you get a little bit more information. So you also get some nice examples of different minis you can get. So you can get squiggly beasts, so good old squigs, which they come in a range of sizes. So you get colossal squigs and giant squigs, you get small squigs, you get bomb squigs, you get everything. They're quite good fun, they're always really, really enjoyable. You can have the Beast Snagger line of Orcs, which is even better, in my opinion. They look really, really cool, and they specialise in utilising squigs, which is pretty damn awesome. You can go more of the mechanical route, so you could get the Stompy Boys and all this type of stuff. You can get your Death Copters, which obviously we're going to get soon anyway. Vehicles, and you can go more that way, or you can go with a bit of everything. So Orc Society is very, very good. You also do get Gretchins, which are small, I was going to say small orcs. They're not orcs, they're Gretchins, they're grots, essentially. So they are snotlings and stuff like that. They are far smaller, and they are generally bullied, but they are far, far more cunning. So they're a little bit more interesting, which is always pretty cool. Moving on from there, we have more rules, so giving us our more of our core rules. Only war, the mission. So obviously we talked a little bit about missions last week, and the different type of missions, and the way the magazine's going to give us some missions and scenarios and stuff like that. The core rules give some missions in there. There are other ways to get more missions, so you can get them on the Warhammer community website. You can get them sometimes in good old the supplements that they release in between editions. You can get them in the next core rulebook when the next edition comes out. You can get them from White Dwarf magazine occasionally. You can get them online. You can find them here, there and everywhere. Sometimes we're in some codexes, I believe, if I remember rightly. Yeah, for a bit all over the place. Or you can just make your own. Have a little bit of fun with it. Have a good read through of how exactly this works. So choosing one things like for your battlefield size, determining who's the attacker, who's the defender, declare your formations, all your objectives and all that good stuff. Yeah, you can have really, really good fun. And obviously picking the right size army for what you're playing as well. So if you want to go super big, you can go up to 3,000 points officially. You can go bigger if you really wanted to. 3,000 points is a really, really large army, and it's going to take several hours to complete, so don't think you're going to have it done within 15 minutes, because that's generally not how it goes. But you get to have a little bit of fun with it. You can incorporate, obviously, your combat patrols into all of your armies, and you can have multiple more units in there. So obviously, if you're going to go for a 3,000 point army, you are definitely going to need more than your combat patrol. You might want, if you're going Space Marines, you might want some the Brutalist Dreadnought, you might want some more vehicles, you might want more heroes, you might want the Infiltrator Squad, you may want Eliminators, you may want more Terminators, you want more of the Inferno Squad, all that good stuff. There are many, many ways of doing it. Building your army is a really, really good thing to do and have a bit of fun with it if you're going to go for a bigger army and kind of just, tinker around. Download the Warhammer 40k app on your phone and you can build an army on there. If you're not a subscriber to Warhammer Plus, you can only build one army. Then you have to delete it and you can build another one. You don't get all the war scrolls on there either, which is, annoying, but it is what it is. But yeah, it's worth having a tinker around on there. I like to do it every now and again. I'll build an army and go, what would I add to it? And I'll just go through. Obviously, it gets very, very expensive, but you can have a bit of a play around with it. Anyway, enough talk about all of that. Determining your battlefield is obviously all the main way of doing it. So if you're going for the only war, you are literally just going against each other, smashing into each other, beat the hell out of each other, have fun. So pretty good stuff. Then moving on, we get Eldari combat rules. So they do have their own enhancements when my phone's not going off, secondary objectives and stratagems as well. So they do have their unique rules like every other faction does. So you get your enhancements, you get your secondary objectives on here as well. So they do utilise their Eldritch Might, for instance, and an Effable Agenda, and much more. And obviously you also get your stratagems. So they do have their own unique stratagems in there as well. Same with the Chaos Space Marines as well. So you may want some Dark Pacts, you may want to kind of be more dedicated towards Khorne or Tzeentch or even Nurgle or anyone like that, and go along that way, and you can have a bit of fun with it, and it's all really, really good stuff. They also have their own stratagems and different abilities, and I'm sure we'll get more of those as and when the magazine wants us to. So pretty cool stuff overall. Happy days. Going on to next week. Obviously, next week and the week after, parts 1 and 2 of our Death Copters for the Orc range. Pretty fun. Little, cobbled together helicopters from the Orcs. They're a little bit fun, a little bit quirky, a little bit interesting as well. They're not just your bog standard flight stems or anything like that, which is always really, really good. They have a little bit more interest to them. Kind of like they're only just skimming over the top of objects. Obviously, they are flyers, so they do utilise flying abilities and stuff like that. And they're pretty cool. They're pretty fun, pretty interesting. And yeah, it's just part of the absolute madness that is Orc machinery, which is really cool in my opinion. So happy days. Right, and that is it from me. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye bye now.